All right, here we have M5-89. So it says, consider the cylinder shown. The radius of the cylinder base is 5 units. We can see that here. And the height of the cylinder is 8 units. 3 says, suppose there is a circular disc of a height of 1 unit at the bottom of the cylinder. So that's why they have this kind of grayed out. You can also think about it kind of like there's like water or something in this glass, but it's only up to 1 unit essentially. A says calculate the area of the top of this circular disc. So basically it's just what's the area of this disc. And you can see that this area is going to be the same as the area of the base, the same area as the top. They're all the same circle. So basically I just want the area of that circle that has a radius of 5. Now it might have been a long time since you've done area of a circle. So area of circle, it's always pi times the radius squared. So in this case, it's pi times 5 squared. If you're using your phone as a calculator, you'll have to turn it sideways to get all the special stuff. So what we want is pi times 5 squared. Now 5 squared is 25, so we can put that in times pi, and that's approximately 78.54 units squared. And the units are squared because this is a two-dimensional shape. B asks, how many congruent circular discs would fill the cylinder? So basically if I had this one and I just kept putting in like more and more and more and more, how many of those would it take to fill it up? Well, obviously if there's 1, if it's the height of 1 and the total height is 8, it's going to take 8 of those discs. And it asks, what's the volume of each disc? Well, we know that the area was about 78. And if we're going to think about that in 3 dimensions, well, that third dimension was only 1. It had a height of 1. So the volume is actually the same. So we're taking the area times the height, but that's just 1. So it'd be the 78.54 times 1, and it's still 78.54. Now this time the units are cubed because we're talking about a 3-dimensional measurement. And then C asks, determine the total volume of the cylinder. So what we can think of is if it takes 8 discs to fill this, and we know the measurement of each disc, we just multiply the volume of each disc times 8. So volume of disc times 8. And I'm getting 628.32, and again the units are going to be cubed because we're talking about a 3-dimensional shape. So 4 is trying to get us to kind of bring it full circle if we didn't work with it in the terms of discs, but in just what it is. So write a formula for the volume of the cylinder where V represents the volume, R is radius, H is height. So before, what we were basically doing was the volume was the area of that disc times the height, and so we can expand upon that because the area of that disc was pi r squared. So the entire thing is really going to be volume is pi r squared height because it's representing that disc times the height, how many of those discs there that can fit in there.